Hello, everybody, and welcome to this third webinar of our webinar series on DIGIFED. DIGIFED, which is an innovation action supported by the Horizon 2020 program to drive the digital revolution across European SMEs. So, my name is Alice. I am an innovation business developer at Blumorpho. So, Blumorpho is a member of this consortium on this project, and we are going to be the innovation management partner in charge of the innovation management program. So I'm very pleased to welcome you to the third webinar of our four webinar series, where we will welcome today Omar from AVL, Jure from University of Ljubljana, and Antonio and Marcello from ST Microelectronics. So Antonio in Italy and Marcello in France. So as I mentioned, this is the third webinar of a series of 4 webinars. So we will have one final session next week, and it's going to be the 14th of October. So this session and the next one will be dedicated to present you the technical support you can get from our partners to apply on this second open call. So if you're registered to this webinar, you are automatically registered to the next session. And I would really advise you to come to this final session so you grasp the whole idea of the project. So before we start, I would also like to inform you that this webinar is animated today by Blumorpho, and that the slides and the recording of this webinar will be made available for you on the DIGIFED website. Also, there is a question box on the webinar's toolbox on the right side of your screen. Please feel free to enter all your questions as we're going through with this webinar, and we will address them to our speakers during the Q&A session at the very end. So before I give the floor to Omar and he presents you the AVL offer, I just wanted to give you a quick reminder about DIGIFED and what has been presented to you in the previous webinar. So again, the slide and the recordings will be made available for you shortly. About DIGIFED, DIGIFED is a Horizon 2020 funded project dedicated to support European cross-border partnership to foster industry, to digitize their products and services and reach new markets enabled by cyber physical systems, so CPS, and embedded systems. DIGIFED gathers 12 partners from 9 European countries, and it lasts for 3 years. So it started the 1st of January 2020 and will end the 31st of December 2022. And finally, it's a cascade funding opportunity for European SMEs. So as a reminder, on this project, there are 2 types of application experiments. So the classic one called the single application experiment, where a company applies for a 55K cascade funding to implement the technology of one of the technical partners in its offer. And the second type is the twin application experiment, where 2 SMEs apply for a total of 110,000 euros cascade funding. So it's 55,000 each, and one company provides the technical support to the other company, so they develop a product together. So if you want to know more about this, you can visit the DIGIFED webpage, so it's digifed.org, and see the eligibility criteria and the eligible costs. And you can also visit the FAQ section, which has also a lot of information. Please bear in mind that this project supports a cross-border opportunities, so both application experiments, so either if it's a single application experiment or twin application experiment, you need to apply with a company or a partner from another country than yours. So, all right, so thank you very much for your attention. I now give the floor to Omar from AVL.
Thank you, Alice. Good morning to all and welcome to the presentation. In my case, it's only a 1 slide. My name is Omar Valeda and I'm a R&D project manager at AVL. I'm predominantly dealing with the management of innovation projects and integration of the results of such projects into our main development path. I'm not working directly with the integrated and open development platform, but quite few of my activities are connected to work of IODP. And I will provide you a very brief overview of IODP and its capabilities. The IODP is implemented at AVL side to drive process innovation. So the expression process innovation could carry many meanings, so it can mean different things to different people. So I'll try to explain what we mean by that. If we consider development of any modern automotive product, or maybe even wider if you cross into other domains, you have to consider the majority of development processes are more or less influenced by a range of different technical departments. Each one of those has their own core technical competence. Many of those departments use a wide range of tools, and each one of them is using what best fits for their core skills and their nature of work. Consequently, there's a heterogeneous landscape of tools in place, and many of those are not well connected. In reality, they could be not even compatible. In addition, it's quite common that these departments operate using different processes, and some of those are not connected as well. So this story so far is originating from the tools and processes side, and it's kind of prone to evolution. It's a slow evolution, but it's still in progress. On the other hand, if you move away from the processes and the tools, an additional issue is concerned with the development. Development is very often hardware-centric. Generally speaking, I don't complain about that because I am coming from the hardware side of the world. But that could be an issue if you focus validation efforts on the actual hardware components, and you are at the same time integrating those into a really complex and multidisciplinary system. This focus on a real individual components tends to lead to validation of the real tangible components only when they are developed. So it's pretty much done at the end of the process. So those three aspects so far, so the heterogeneous tools, the unconnected processes, and the hardware-oriented approach are forming the main challenge for the development process of such complex systems. So AVL's answer to these challenges is coming from the IODP, which aims to increase development efficiency through transformation of the development process to more agile routes. So you're trying to make things in a more flexible way. This is achieved through a balancing act where you are trying to enhance usage of the real components with the simulation models. So the platform is used to integrate real hardware components with the virtual components or simulation models. So you're basically creating a co-simulation environment. An additional benefit of IODP is that it connects different processes, some of which are normally not connectable. The result is an enhanced functional view of the end product. So it is possible to make holistic decisions at the start of the development process. And this is possible through easy visualization of the complete product, even if the individual hardware components are not ready. From the organizational perspective, at the same time, you get an opportunity to plan. So and also not just to plan, but also to then once the process starts, you also have opportunity to monitor and control the contributions of different teams throughout the development process, so from the beginning to the end. And the organizational aspect across the entire development process is then simplified, so you have a better control of what's going on. So story so far is more focusing on high-level overview of the challenge and then the benefits provided by IODP. I will go now into a slightly more practical level to describe or to analyze the IODP capabilities and by checking their key elements. So there are 4 key elements, and they can be used either on their own. You can simply take one of them and implement it the way you desire, or you could combine them in any logical fashion. You can use 2, 3, or 4 as you wish. It depends, of course, on your on your requirements and depends what system you are developing. The first part of the IODP is, or the first element of the IODP is the Model Connect. The Model Connect, it enables communication between separate simulation models. So if you have a bunch of simulation models and each represents a different part of the system, or maybe system of systems, or if we are talking about, in case that you are talking about, for example, CPSOS, then you would have several systems connected together. So then Model Connect allows interlinking of these simulation models in order to create a functional view of the end product. So not the actual product that you have in front of you, but something that you have envisaged. So at the beginning of the process, you try to determine what your end product would look like, and you create a functional view. The second key element is the testbed connect. So which takes the concept a step further by connecting simulation models to the real tangible hardware into a complete system. So you are mixing the simulation and the tangible world. So as AVL is coming from the automotive industry, it's logical to use the name testbed, as this is the instance, the automotive laboratory site. However, this concept and the tools are not necessarily usable only in the automotive world. It's a relatively domain agnostic. You are able to transfer it to a different industry. The next element, the data connect, is one that deals with the vast amount of data that is generated by the testbed connect. So if we consider the potential complexity of the system, or of the systems that are being tested, the data management could become quite a big issue. It becomes significant issue, especially if you are considering the data traceability. So we could be talking about simple things like, for example, if you take test results which were created at point in time under certain conditions, then you maybe want to identify what set of calibration parameters were used, for example. So Data Connect takes all the data and makes it available for the post-processing. You can look at it afterwards, after your measurement campaign, after your testing campaign. And of course, this can be shared across different teams, so different teams can have different focus, and they can look into different things in your look for different insights in your data. The final element is the device connect. This is highly secure data transmission pipeline, so it allows global connection of distributed devices with a two-way communication. So in case the devices are commonly connected basically into, for example, in our case, it'll be a fleet of vehicles or a bunch of instruments. They are used for vehicle development or testing. So you would integrate them either into different vehicles, into your fleet, or into different instruments where you have a full range of instruments, and you can basically then monitor what's happening. This connectivity solution is at the same time, just as I mentioned earlier, it's not limited to the automotive applications only. So there is not much to stop you from trying this solution in different applications and in different domains. So you can basically move away from vehicles or the testing instruments which are associated with the vehicles. The two-way communication allows data collection or for over-the-air data transfer to the devices. So the basic applications will include data collection from the devices for offline analysis or predictive maintenance or some other application, especially when you're talking about fleet monitoring. On the other hand, the data sent to the devices can be used for some slow control or parameterization if you are dealing with calibration, or maybe firmware updates, and so on. It really depends on the strategy you're trying to implement with your devices. And the final application is pretty much open to your imagination. It really depends on what you are dealing with. So those would be the 4 elements of IODP, and the unique selling point of the IODP is kind of badly hidden in its name. It is the integrated open development platform. So unlike fashion or perfume designers, engineers are not terribly imaginative when it comes to naming their products. So if you imagine having a set of tools in place, you would not be too keen on performing drastic changes or on it in order to perform a set of procedure. So the basic idea of the platform is that it integrates into the tool chain or tool landscape of the customer. As the platform is open, again, which comes from also is badly hidden in the name, it effectively can be connected to any set of tools. These tools could come from us, the AVL, but also could originate from third-party suppliers. It's up to you. I mean, the idea here is not that we force you to use a specific set of tools, but that you use IODP and you easily integrate it in whatever tools you have already in use. An integration of the platform is a stepwise process. So it's comprised of quick, short loops. So you start with very small specific tasks, and then you slowly grow the integration into something bigger. You take it one step at a time. The focus is on the functional view, so that at any time in development process, it's possible to cross-check the compliance with the original product requirements. So if you have designed a set of requirements at the beginning of your project, you can pretty much at any point in time try to check compliance with of your existing product with those requirements. Aside from the technical focus, the platform also considers adaptability of processes and people and the nature of their relationship. So sometimes these need to be adapted, and the platform allows for this. So it takes you one step away from just the technical implementation, and it helps you deal with the people issue. As already mentioned, the applications are not limited to automotive world. I think I mentioned already a couple of times, but could cover wide areas. It could peek into other industrial domains. For example, vehicle design could be optimized through different model variation and decisions based on how these complement each other. It is possible to combine the virtual and real components, as already mentioned. So in theory, you could create and test an optimal variant of a desired component even before you start considering its design. The platform is the source of information that tells you what is that you really wish to have at the component level in order to obtain the envisaged functionality. It allows linking of various model libraries and the synchronization across the design process. One application could be determining ideal servicing time or ideal time for firmware updates based on data analysis. In principle, you are able to front load your task to the earlier stages of the development process. So you are increasing the development efficiency, and that's a kind of key message of the platform, that you are able to perform your technical developments, to execute your processes in such a way that your efficiency is improved. And I would probably like to leave with that key message. So that completes the quick overview of the platform. And I'll hand it over back to you, Alice. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Omar. So we will now give the floor to Jure from the University of Ljubljana. Hi, Jure.
Hi, Alice. Thank you. Yes, my name is Jure Trilar. I'm from Faculty of Electrical Engineering and representing University of Ljubljana. Our Digital Innovation Hub has quite a few offers with some potentials to be integrated to your CPS solutions. So I will try to make this brief. So the first offer is the Big Data Analytics tool. And the promise is that with this tool, the clients will not overlook the relevant information, but will get an edge to overcome the blind spot problem of nearly all companies. That is, the focus on the existing business models quite often drives the executives to overlook the future opportunities and risks. And this tool combines different sources of information, let it be research, scientific literature, patent databases, news, websites, social media, and so on. With this, algorithms provide a holistic picture about both scientific and technical developments, as well as trends being of high relevance for current and future business development. The current status of the database is that it contains more than 250 million of technical and scientific articles, and top of that, more than million of relevant social news items per day. Artificial intelligence, all these data are summarized by artificial intelligence into a few dashboards using context-based analytics algorithms, where the context should be selected by the client or by the user. Alice, can we move to the next slide? Thank you. So the next one, this is the one I like quite a lot because it's actually simple and easy to understand. It's named SWETHER. It's electrical switch with Ethereum blockchain support. In its blockchain-based end-to-end prototype system comprised of IoT devices, decentralized applications, and user interfaces. It enables control of electricity switch via Ethereum blockchain transactions, and the users can, for example, reserve electric charging slots for their cars, pay for consumed time and energy through the Ethereum network. It's a practical example of blockchain technologies and in IoT devices. So the developed technology is excellent from prototyping your distinct IoT and blockchain solutions, and these concepts can be easily moved around and extended to arbitrary control of any IoT devices or device-to-device transactions and interactions. And on the next slide, this is a service that we offer and a consultation on how to design effective digital solution with all the relevant stakeholders. Because creating innovative products, services, policies, and business models that correspond with the relevant stakeholders' needs and also expectations and motivations can be used in both private efforts to connect the business value to end users and also in public communal endeavors of creating sensible solutions for citizens. A service provided with this SROI methodology, it combines socio-economic and environmental return on investment assessment together with open innovation regarding the co-creation of the services process. Well, the assessment also allows for evaluation and monitoring of existing or planned products and services, delivering not just economic but also social and environmental impacts in returns. This is, of course, determined by your policy or service goals and evaluated by measuring relevant indicators and values. Well, the next slide is presents us with cloud DevOps Design and consultation service. Consultation service, and it's consulting and also implementation service that can be provided according to your distinct business and software development contexts. Based on specific organization's needs, capacities, and nevertheless digital strategy, we can support your implementation of cloud data storage, processing, and software development lifecycle automation services for open, that's public, and also closed proprietary cloud systems. And the last slide, it's actually very broad definition, but we can help your IoT solutions with extension and consultation, also with some prototyping capacities. So this IoT prototyping platform and consulting that we provide is intended for specific IoT sensor platform development for real-life applications. We can also support predictive modeling design and data sharing scenarios for direct commercial purposes. We tend to use commercially available sensors as this milieu of all available sensors is quite vast, and we don't intend to lock in ourselves or the clients to these specific vendors, but we use sensors that are commercially available based on real life needs, and our expertise in IoT solution can implement these great customization capabilities. And the typical use cases would be in development of smart city sensor platforms, smart agriculture, smart industry, and other application, of course. It's intended to be fast and effective. As I already said, we have to implement tailor-made user cases that are defined by high level of customizability and meaningful data processing to add value of proprietary software applications of our clients. So thank you. That would be all from me. And Alice, please, you have the screen and the word.
Thank you very much, Jure. So this is now the time for ST Microelectronics. I will now give the floor to Marcello. Marcello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. So I'll give you the control. Okay, so you now have the control of the screen.
Okay. But I'm not able to change the eventually with what is okay. Alice, it's better maybe you can move on the slide. I tell you the slide.
Sorry?
I suggest you to move from one slide to the other because I have some trouble with the control.
Yeah, no worries.
So next slide, please. Okay, so ST is really present in different market. For this particular project, we are really providing technology related to smart industry, smart city, smart home, smart things. Using our technology, you are able to build this kind of application in a very simple way. Next slide. So today what we provide is really think to make your Internet of Things application. So we provide, as you can see later in this presentation, all the senses actuating sensor. We are able to provide also some power energy management. But what is really important, we provide the core of your Internet of Things system is the STM32. This is really the microcontroller able to manage all the information coming from the sensor and then transmitting the information to the cloud and back again eventually to the sensor if you need to actuate something. This kind of architecture, as I mentioned before, you can apply to the different market. And this is really what is really powerful because the way to build your application is very simple. Next slide. Okay. Today we provide you really a broad family of 32-bit microcontroller MCU. Depending on the application you would like to target or you would like to implement on DIGIFED, we are able to provide you free of charge really the necessary hardware to make your application. together in collaboration with this team, we can really choose the most appropriate platform in order to meet your requirement in terms of power and performance. As you can see here, we have a really huge list of products. And this is really, once we have a clear idea about the application, we can deliver the most appropriate platform to you. Next slide. Another product we have recently introduced is what we call the microprocessor. STM32MP1 is really the first one on this family. What is good is really compared to microcontroller, you are able to run here really a standard operating system like Linux. Eventually, you can also able to run Android on top. And these open really a huge list of new application domain on industrial, health, wellness, consumer, or at home. What is really key in this kind of architecture, we combine the MCU with MPU, so at the same time you are able to run your real-time operating system together with your Linux OS, and this is really open those possible applications. Next slide. So this is what I already described to you. Using this platform, you can use Linux plus you can have your real-time operating system running on the Cortex M4. Next slide. In order to program and facilitate the development of your application, ST is able to provide you the several software development tools. So here we provide you, for instance, the STM32CubeMX is a tool able to configure your device depending your application requirement. Then we also have some tooling for the debugging like STM32IDE. So this is able in a simple way to debug your system. And then with the cube, we are able to program. So this means you can write your program, compile, and then run your program directly in the board. And then we have also a product able to monitor. So this means to see what is going on your application. Together with the developing tools, we also have several embedded software solutions. So depending on application, you can have access to specific graphics, you can have access to communication, you can have access to specific cartons. And then everything we are able to run what we call the fast prototyping. This flexible fast prototyping is a way for you to reach in a very fast way really a demonstration before the final product. So you're able to demonstrate your application in a real environment, and then when everything is done, you can move fast to develop your product. If you consider previous successful application experiment, they target really to use this board to move after to the market. So ST is helping those companies really to meeting their market to meet in a very simple and fast way what they have in mind to reach to address some market. Last but not least, we also have some cooperation with the big names like Amazon, Azure. So using our platform, you were able to get some specific software stack in order to address those cloud providers. So this is something also eventually we can provide to you if it is necessary. In terms of connectivity, we are able to address different kinds of connectivity spanning from ZigBee, LoRa, Wi-Fi, Sigfox, and also targeting the standard LTE, 3G, 4G communication. Next slide. So for this, I think Antonio will carry on the part related to the sensor and the open development environment. I leave the word to Antonio.
Thank you, Marcello. Antonio, can you hear us?
Hey, thank you. STM Microelectronics is a provider of smart advanced solution on base of its capability to develop and manufacturing silicon device, and not only. ST France and ST Italy work together, especially in STM32 open development environment, providing the section of software, microcontroller, and environment for the development. Next slide, please. Thank you, Alice. Okay. To complement our proposition in device as sensor, communication, and translate, or the other kind of solution that is in our portfolio for analogic digital device. And the idea, the open developed ODE, is to have to provide a fast, affordable prototyping to allow to move from the idea and to develop very fast, plug in and put together different board and software package to have a solution that is be tested, verified, to develop the software, to verify the performance, to verify that the idea is running well or not, and to do the next step of the integration of the board to test and to final device. Then we look for integrator system that have the capability to have not only to have the idea of what are thinking to do, but to have the capability to, next slide, to provide, to assemble several boards to obtain something for the final solution that is possible to test, and then working on this, obtain the final product that isn't the collection of several boards stacked one up one. And in this board, in this slide, is clear that our position from ST France is the processing and over tool for allow the configuration, debug, and test and monitoring. On the other side, ST Italy is on the hardware, providing a board that is possible to plug to STM32 Nucleo to obtain sensor connectivity, translate the signal, actuation, and management of power. This allow to obtain a stacked solution, fast prototyping, that to verify what is possible to achieve with this kind of solution. Next slide, please. This is the proposition of the X-Nucleo. The board related to the hardware are named, labeled with X-Nucleo family. And we split in 5 family: sense, connect, connection, power drive, and actuated motion and translate. We offer more than 40 expansion board to covering this kind of proposition. Not for the next slide. This kind of a proposition. In addition to this, on ST is a manufacturer for silicon device. Silicon device, generally, our focus in DIGIFED aren't the commodity, are the product that are is able to enable a solution. This on power. For this product, generally we provide as a solution, example of a solution that is possible to adapt for test the performance that is possible to achieve with this kind of a product. And we have several kind of the STEVAL board, STEVAL evaluation board, ST evaluation board, because they have the focus to be connected to evaluate the performance of the specific device, but we provide a solution that are not only allowed to evaluate the performance of specific device, but is useful to be implemented in the fast prototyping for the definition of overall system. If there is another slide or not, that slide. Yes, this is the summary of the action in DIGIFED of the ST Italy, but we work generally in synergy with ST France for the Nucleo board, the STM32 Nucleo board, but our device is already available for any other kind of implementation and are compliant with Arduino pinout. This is, as is reported, ST Microelectronics intend in DIGIFED provide access to the ODE, not only at the ST Italy in X-Nucleo, ST France in STM32 Nucleo, and in this synergy of to provide an environment that is possible to configure, to define and to arrange all the scope of the fast prototyping. In any case, what is provided is that each of this kind of board have the abstracted access to the expansion board functionality by through high-level API and a sample for the application, not in this. And these are the presentation is on the right. You see the example of some solution that are the STEVAL, the tracking or a sensor or a wearable sensor that is very little. The last that is 30 millimeter for 30 millimeter is dimension of chip, but is a system of on sensing and the communication. And this is our proposition, and are more than a building block to realize, to achieve your idea, your solution, and I hope that could be of your interest to our collaboration. This is all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Antonio. Thank you, Antonio, Marcello as well. So just a reminder before we move to the Q&A session. So don't hesitate to put all your questions in the question box. So it's on the right side of the screen and you have a question box. You can enter them and we will address them to our speakers. So before we move to the Q&A session, so a few important dates. There was the launch of the second open call on the 22nd of September. It will close in December, 15th of December. 1st of October, we had a webinar on the new type of open call called the Digital Challenge. So you can access them on the DIGIFED website pretty soon, all the recordings. Today was the first technology offer of the DIGIFED partners, and there will be the second part on the 14th of October, so on Wednesday, next Wednesday, 10 a.m. So again, you register to the whole series of webinars. So if you want to access, you will receive the link. It's going to be a similar link as this one. Coming soon, we will have another webinar on the pitch training preparation. So it's going to be useful for you to prepare your application on the DIGIFED Open Call. And you see all the links to the past events on this slide. So all the slides and videos will be made available for you on the DIGIFED website. So we can go now to the Q&A session. There's still time for you to put your questions in the question box. So first question is, where can we get the webinar presentations? So all the recordings and the slides will be on the DIGIFED website by the end of the week. And the last one will be made available next week. So again, all the webinars are recorded. So do you have questions maybe for the technical point of view for Antonio, for Jure, for Marcello, or for Omar? So I guess this presentation was very clear. So thank you very much to all the participants. So as a reminder, don't miss out on the next webinar. Oh, there's another question now. How do we apply with a technical partner? So you now have all the offer from the ST, from Ljubljana and from AVL. You will next week have the technical presentation of Digital Catapult in the UK. You will also have Budapest University of Electronics, the CEA in France as well, and Ikerlan in Spain. So once you've decided which technology is the best for your project, you can contact directly the technical partner of DIGIFED. You have all the contact details on the website. So again, the website is digifed.org. Another question is, we have two options: go in cooperation with another company or go alone. If we go alone, we can collaborate with a DIGIFED partner. Do we need to select one of the partner, or we can work with different ones? So you have actually, yes, two options. So the first option is the single application experiment, where you go with a technical partner. So just as a reminder, you cannot go alone on the project. You need to either go with another SME or with the technical partner of the consortium. Can you select different ones? So if you think that there is an interest for you to combine two technologies, I think there is a possibility for you to do that. So this is a question we already answered on the FAQ section of the website. There should be a way for you to apply with two technical partners, but we need to check on this FAQ section because the answer was very detailed there. There is a question on the number of participants. I'm afraid I cannot give you this information. Shall we contact the technical partner and decide on a common project? Can the technical partner put efforts in the project too? So yes, I advise you to contact a technical partner of your choice, because then you can discuss the feasibility of the project, and you contact them and say, well, this is my project. Do you think you can put effort into it? Do you think you can help? And then the technical partner will be able to give you information on the feasibility. I don't know if either one of you, Antonio or Marcello or Omar or Jure, you want to add something on this? If you think you can, yeah, Omar?
I can clarify. I mean, in principle, the project is yours. So the technical partner is there to support you with the technology and to guide you. it would not be expected of the technical partner to, for example, do the real development for you, or to, for example, write deliverables. However, if you have a reasonable proposal and you would expect some additional development done by the technical partner, you would have to request it, and you have to do it in advance. Please don't write in your proposal that you expect of the technical partner to do something without actually consolidating this with your technical partner in advance, without consulting them in advance, agreeing with them in advance. Because if you write it in your proposal, it might work against you. So basically, agree on things in advance, whatever it is that you require, and then once you have an agreement, you can put it into your implementation plan of your proposal.
Thank you, Omar, for your precisions. There's another question following this one. Will the funding be common to the SME and the technical partner? How will it be split? So Omar, I know you've worked on this. If you want to,
I can help you with that.
Well.
Yes,
yeah.
No, the funding, which is up to maximum of 55,000 euros, goes to the SME. The technical partner is funded through Horizon 2020 or through as a part of DIGIFED. So technical partner does not get any of that money. Two things to consider. Of course, if you are a twin project, then it's up to 55,000 euros for each partner, each SME, not the technical partner. And the second thing, which just escaped my mind, yes, the second thing is you have to take care of this maximum limit of 100,000. So if you were funded before as a part of the Smart Anything Anywhere initiative, I do apologize, I can't remember the exact name, but if you're funded before through Cascade funding, you have to take into account that the funding you are allowed to request now, plus the funding that you have already had before, should not exceed 100K.
Thank you, Omar. In the case of a twin application experiment, can we bring a partner which has expertise, which might already be provided by a technical partner in a single application experiment? I'm not sure I really understood that question, so
I'm not so sure that I understood it either. You can bring another partner. I think the way I understand the question is that you're asking if somebody who was funded before is now your twin partner. If that is the correct question, if I understood the correct question correctly, then yes, but you have to take into account what I just said before. They will be limited. Their funding will be limited up to 100K. And that is funding they had before, plus the funding they can request now. The second point, the partner you're bringing also has to be qualified as SME according to the European Commission regulations.
yes, and I think so. There's another question: do we need a cross-border partner, or can we choose one from the same country? So no, it has to be a cross-border application experiment. So you need to choose a company from another country, part of the European area. I see a question about, is this the full list and contact details for the partner? Yes, it is. This I can see the link you put, and it's the right link. To go back on the question you just answered, Omar, I understood the question another way. So is it possible to apply with a company that already has a support from a technical partner?
You mean outside of DIGIFED?
Yes.
They have support some. Yes, of course, it's not the problem. You have to be careful slightly about, we take really care of conflict of interest. So you have to make sure that there is no any conflict of interest there in terms of evaluation. But yes, it's perfectly fine to be to apply together with another partner which might already be cooperating with DIGIFED technology provider and apply together as a twin project. That's not that there's not an issue there. If you have a specific concern in that case, please write to the help desk and try to detail, the relationships, and one of us will respond to you anyhow.
Yes, thank you. And the last question was, can a UK company join this program after 2021? So
yes.
yeah.
to keep it simple, this question has arisen before. Yes, it's still possible, and DigiCut is also part of the DigiFed. So yes.
Thank you, Omar. What is the difference between application experiment and the digital challenge? Are we here addressing only the first? So the application experiment is your project, and you apply either with another company or with a technical partner. In the case of the digital challenge, so on this open call, we have a digital challenge from GE, so General Electric in France. And they have a challenge that they want to be answered. And so you can apply to answer the challenge of GE. So that's the main difference. The project on the digital challenge is the project of GE. And on the application experiments is you want to develop a new project and you request support from the DigiFED consortium. So clarification on the question, Omar, if I build a twin application experiment with a partner, but this partner brings in an expertise which can be provided by a technical partner, would it be penalized?
No, if you choose to work with somebody else rather than with technology provider, it's okay.
Yeah.
If that's somebody else, it could be even a competitor of the technology provider, it's okay, but they have to qualify still. Keep in mind, they still have to be SME. So it's not a problem. I don't see any problem there. But again, please write to help desk. If my answer is not clear, please try to write to help desk and we'll pick it up.
Okay. Could you remind us the next timing for calls and submission? So the open call opened on the 22nd of September, and I believe it closes on the 15th of December at 5 p.m.
That's 5 p.m. That's 5 p.m. Bristol's time. Sorry, just a little correction in case there are some maybe Greek partners or British or somewhere else from different time zone.
Okay, yeah, thank you. DigiFED offers up to 55,000 euros in funding, representing 70% of your project's declared budget. Can we put the remaining 30% in hours of personal work during the development? Okay, so this would need to check the eligible costs, and I'm not really sure I can answer this question, so I can send it to, so I suggest that you have a look at the eligible costs on the website, and you can also write this question to the help desk, or if Omar, you have another answer. But
I could attempt to answer the question, but I would rather not. I think this is something that one of the other partners, Isabel, will deal with that. So please write to the help desk.
Yeah, and can we find the list of partners on the website? Can you include the link, please? So yes, the list of the partners is on the website. I'm not sure I can send you a link on this platform, but if you go to digifed.org, you have a subsection called Offer, and you can see all the partners. And the contact details should be on the website. So I'll just check now, but the contact details should be on the website. And if you have any doubt on this, please make sure you can send all the questions you have to the help desk, as mentioned Omar. So it's info@digifed.org. And you should be able to see in Explore, you have DigiFed offer, and you should have all the contact details. So if you click on the partner, you have the contact details for the partner. Yes, so you have all the names and the people in charge of the offer, and you have their email address. All right, so I think this closes our Q&A session. Thank you very much to all of you, Antonio, Jure, Marcello, and Omar. Thank you very much. Thank you, Omar, for your help on this Q&A. Again, if you have other questions, don't hesitate to send it to the DigiFed help desk. And don't hesitate also to visit the FAQ page because it has a lot of information. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.